War and Peace by Tolstoy is one of those books that everyone knows but seems to be scared to read for what I believe to be the wrong reasons. I know everyone hears War and Peace and thinks 1,200 something pages, a million Russian names, and something about, Napoleon, but it's so brilliant and there's so much more to it. What I find so interesting about War and Peace and what I think makes it so unique is that it's not necessarily just one kind of book. It's part sociology, part psychology, part philosophy, part war story, part romance, part history lesson. I mean, it's everything is in this book. You go from battlefields with Napoleon to country estates, love affairs, aristocratic balls, you name it. I mean, political intrigue, you have characters trying to figure out what it means to live. I mean, everything. To me, I sort of think of it as Pride and Prejudice, and The Count of Monte Cristo had this sort of brilliant baby. But to me, one of my favorite things about this book, and the thing I think about most, is his challenge of this idea that history is made by great men. At the time, thinkers like Carlyle argued that history was essentially just the story of powerful heroes. But Tolstoy absolutely disagreed, and he believed that events like the Napoleonic Wars weren't just the result of one genius leader. Instead, it's the result of millions of small decisions made by normal people. And he actually discovered this while serving in the Russian army. He interviewed soldiers after battle and realized that everyone had told completely different stories about what had happened. Which means that the history that we read later on might not be the official story, but essentially just the story that everyone agreed upon. And you see that idea run throughout the entire novel. So to me, while War and Peace is quite literally a million things, most importantly is the story of how ordinary people shape the world and not heroes. And honestly, I must say, once you start reading it, it is way less intimidating than you might think. Although the characters' names might be a bit confusing, especially with the Russians, I do think that they're pretty much unforgettable, most of the characters, and I do think that the plot is not as convoluted as a lot of people make it out to be. And honestly, if a book is this good, you kind of wish it went on longer.